Good evening, madam.
Good evening, Mr. Dickens.
And what an evening. So crisp and clear. The stars are so bright tonight, are they not?
Most probably, sir. If we were outdoors and not in this museum, I'd probably be inclined to agree. How has your day been?
It has been most agreeable. My housekeeper, Georgina, made a most delightful breakfast of poached eggs and devilled kidneys. After a short constitutional around town, I settled down with pen and ink to start a page on my new story, a ghost story set at Christmas. Although my inclination may change, I presently see fit to name it A Christmas Carol.
Yes, but what did you see on your walk, Mr. Dickens? Oh, describe it to me.
Well, my dear, in the better parts of town, there are gentlemen walking arm in arm with their lady friends, perhaps pausing by a chestnut cellar for a winter treat. However, turning the corner towards Higham Centre, I was struck by the encroaching poverty, by the poor sheltered in doorways, clasping mugs of cheap gin. It sends a shiver through my spine to see the populace in such a state, especially the young. May I inquire, madam, which district of England you originate from?
Camden.
Ah, Camden has delights of all its own, and not all are impoverished who live there.
Well, it's kind of changed since your day, Mr. Dickens. I hate to break it to you, but I really must. It's been a good 300 years or so since you walked the streets of the UK.
A highly amusing conceit, Miss...
Katrina. I'm Katrina, and you're an animatronic automaton of Charles Dickens, brought to life by superior technology and plonked in the corner of this museum in Camden for the amusement and education of all and sundry.
Your words are strange, and yet somehow I do not question.
You always say that.
I beg your pardon, Katrina, but...
Oh, and that too. You're my favourite automaton, Mr. Dickens. The others are a bit boring, like Mr. Churchill, or a bit angry, like Master Genghis Khan.
So, if your words are correct, this must be the 22nd century. How I would love to explore this brave new world.
Can't walk, Mr. Dickens. Your motions are limited to like a head tilt and a turn and a quizzical arm raise. Mr. Hitler can do so much more. You should see him goose step.
Well, if I cannot explore this futuristic paradise, I will have to rely on your words to guide me through it.
Fair enough, but you won't remember anything I say tomorrow.
I beg your pardon?
7 minutes to 8 to midnight, Mr. Dickens. Your memory bank resets itself daily at midnight. You go all sort of floppy and then back to normal. Looks a bit freaky.
But I am known in this future world. I must be, if I am a museum exhibit.
Of course you're known. Dark beard and that sort of frown, all that fighting for justice and the poor.
I meant for my stories, dear child. The Pickwick Papers, Oliver Twist.
I'm sure they're very good, like very interesting in that, but nobody really reads anymore. There's no time, really, and so many distractions. In the olden days, they used to make moving pictures of your stories, but that kind of thing doesn't happen anymore. It's just a long time to sit down and watch something for like half an hour or however long they were.
So there aren't any books left anywhere?
Books? No. But you can have a knowledge downgrade into your brain chip, though. I mean, if I wanted to, I could download all the plots of your stories directly into my head, if I wanted to.
But the words I selected slaved over.
No time for that, really. If you download one of your stories into your head, you know the ending at the same time as the beginning, so it saves the time and effort, really.
Katrina, may I be slightly impertinent?
Go ahead.
If you had this amazing technology to download into your brains, surely you have found a way to self-clean museum exhibits.
Government initiative. We're all getting a bit fat as a nation, so we've been assigned 2 hours cleaning per day to keep active. Oh, I don't mind it. It means I get to talk to you. Tell me what you'll do at Christmas.
Can you not simply download that as well?
I like your voice. I like hearing you tell it. Go on, tell me what you do at Christmas.
Well, This year, my wife Elizabeth's family will join us from Cambridgeshire, as well as my daughters Kate and Mary and my son Charles, named after myself. There will be a big goose, roasted to perfection, succulent hams and...
But what will you do? Like games and stuff?
perhaps a game of charades. That always adds some Christmas magic, especially after a small glass or two of she...
Oh!
She...
Bugger! Oh. Sorry about that. Well, sprayed into your control panel by accident. Carry on.
I'd much rather hear about your Christmas in this exciting present day.
That's strange. You never asked that before. Just let me check your circuits.
Please, Katrina, tell me about your Christmas.
Not much to tell, really. Spending it with the family.
In the same house?
Kind of. We all live in different flats, but this thing called a computer, Mr. Dickens, films us and projects our images into each other's living room so that we can still talk and everything, but we've got our own space and we can eat exactly what we want.
Forgive me, but that sounds ghastly.
A bit pressurised, really, but it's the only time of year all the family get together.
But you're not all together. You're in different homes.
Best that way. But the only time I actually met my gran was rank. Oh, she was well smelly. It's just easier this way, really. Everyone's happy and we can watch what we want to watch on the screens. Tell me about your Christmas. Sometimes you talk about the carol service. I like hearing about that.
Well, it's one of the few occasions when the poor mix with the rich. There is a genuine feeling of goodwill and... Katrina, tell me about the poor in your time. Are things better?
It's not quite like it was in your days, Mr. Dickens. There's not really the poor and the rich. We all live in flats and we all work from home and we all earn roughly the same amount of money.
Everybody?
Pretty much. Nobody has much concept of going without. I mean, it's probably not as exciting as the Victorian days.
Do you see much of each other? Meet up with your friends and talk about future plans?
That's what the museum's for. Kind of prefer it when you don't ask questions. I find it a little bit upsetting.
I'm sorry, Katrina. Good evening, madam.
Good evening, Mr. Dickens.